All right, Chattanooga. Welcome back to What's Happening in Your Neck of the Woods with your talk show host, Dr. Elenora Woods. We've got some stuff to talk to you about today. First of all, I want to say that Juneteenth was amazing. We had a great celebration here at the Chattanooga Civic Center, and I feel privileged and I am also honored that we had the renaming and the rededication of the African American Museum. It is now the Johnny Holloway African American Education and Heritage Museum. And yes, today I have the privilege and honor of introducing you all to the Johnny Holloway. What are you doing now that you got a building and a museum named in your honor?
Well, I'm doing the same thing I usually do. I just
All
kind
right.
of stay in the middle of the road, keep on doing what I'm doing, and trying to improve the conditions of poor and black people.
Yes, it was a big day. And I tell you, we had some festivities there. We had African culture all in the house. We had African food, African music, African singing. It was phenomenal. And even a local African American artist to actually paint a portrait of Mr. Johnny Holloway and present it to him for the museum. And I tell you, it was no better day than the day we had on June the 10th. And you know what? We had a real good crowd. It was good. And we just fellowship with one another, gave him praise and honor. The Howard class of 19, was it 55?
55.
1955 showed up and showed out, and they were giving him praises. And even Miss Holloway, who's now not with us anymore, but she's with us in spirit, they even praised your wife. Because we know that if it wasn't for her or for him above, then what makes a good man is a good woman. So we praise Miss Holloway, wherever she is in the heavens and stars with God, and for coming spiritually here with you to celebrate that moment. You all see us giving out, passing out some good old food. I like to give a tribute to our caterers. One was Herman's Soul Food Restaurant that gave us some good African red beans and rice and cornbread. And the sisters.
Yeah. The sisters, they are retired now, but they kind of opened it up for you. And they do special events and for people like you. Yes. And so they cooked some African cuisines for us. And so we're glad that the sisters are occasionally still doing business.
Yeah, that food was so good. I really enjoy, because it's one thing to say we eat, Mexican food or soul food or whatever kind of food you like, Asian or whatever. But to actually taste real African food that's prepared the way it's supposed to be prepared, and us to partake of the food, it was a pleasure. And the food was scrumptious from the desserts on down. It was good. And so you can see Sister Minister Willie Mae Hogg serving and me serving the food. And also, I'd like to give a shout out to Representative or Councilman Dennis. Dennis Clark was there serving food as well. He's not even a member or a councilwoman for this district, which is District 7, but he showed up to celebrate with us, and he actually helped serve the food. It was really great. It was good. And Mr. Holloway, I always love to hear him talk, and I just shut up. This is one man that can shut me up. And the reason why he can shut me up, because he speaks so much wisdom, and he's so powerful in what he's saying. And so today he's got to share with us. And he hadn't even told me, and he want me to know just a little bit, but he has some stuff he wants to share and to allow us to partake of the wisdom that in his almost 100 years of age, yes, I said he's over 90 now, y'all. He's been able to witness, experience, and he wants to pass that down. And I'm going to listen. So the floor rather is all yours, Mr. Holloway. Thank you for coming.
First, I'd like to thank all the people who came out to honor me. And I like the size of the crowd that did honor me. I like the age of the crowd under me because they was all my age, just about within a decade or so, and they was all my schoolmates, my church members, and close friends and people who I had influenced over the years, and that was a good crowd for me. I usually shy away from crowds, but that was a good crowd. But what I want to talk about today is that 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 the institutions and how institutions make up this country, and that what we have been taught, we got to learn to think for ourselves. I remember being taught in school that the individual is the most important thing, and that's what we believe. But the individual is not the most important thing in America, in this capitalist system that we live under. What's more important than individuals is the institutions. The individual is going to be born, they live, and they die. But institutions just kind of go on and on and on after generation after generation. And that's what we need to be a more of. The first institution was the family. And it was blessed by God. The family is the most important institution that we have. Then after that, in the Black community, we've had only a few institutions that have survived the times. The first one is the church. The church is an institution because it's been here for ages. The next one is the fraternal organization that you find in the Black community, and that's fraternal organization like the Elks, and then you have your college fraternities and sororities. They are institutions. And then you look at the NACP, have been around for a pretty good while. That's an institution. Institution is something that goes on and on after people die. What we usually have in the Black community is organization that is built around personalities. That's the reason I don't want this museum built around a personality. I want this museum and this building that we're in called the Alton Park Community Development to become an institution. It'll be here when we go. And that's what I'm hoping for, this to become an institution. And so in order to have an institution, you got to have support of the people.
Amen.
People got to support it. They got to put money in it. They got to be here day in and day out. That's what makes an institution. And it has a board, and the members of the board die, but new members come on and just keep it going and keep it going and keep it going for centuries. That's what makes it. The Black colleges are an institution because they was born out of the Reconstruction, and they still here today. That's an institution.
Yes.
And so that's what I'm talking about. We need to be more institutions and forget about the personalities. Now, I'm not saying don't celebrate individuals. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, but we should not build the progress of the Black community around individuals.
Amen.
It should be built around institutions. And we don't build institutions. That's the first thing I want to talk about. The second thing I want to talk about is you have to think for yourself. Don't let anybody define you but you. Now, for example, when the press interview me, or some institution like the University of Tennessee interview me, and I began to tell my life story to them, and they're going to put the archives, all that. First thing they say, you're a radical. I said, no, I'm not a radical. Ain't nobody going to never make me say I'm a radical. I'm an activist.
Yes.
I'm an activist. I react to what happened to me, not as Johnny Holloway, but as a Black man, because they don't know Johnny Holloway. Mm-hmm. And the reaction to me was because I was Black. And so I found that happened to all people that's Black. Same thing that happened to me was happening to the Black people. We react to it differently. Some of us like to get drunk on the weekend. Some of them might shoot dope in our veins instead of putting hope in our brains. And we do a whole lot of crazy things trying to cope in this situation we call America. But what we all must do, we must react. And we must not react out of fear. We must not react out of fear. We must we have to react out of intelligence and how to do what we need to do to advance ourselves and our families and our community. And that's what's important. And we need to continue to understand how to react. Now, for instance, when when people try to define me different ways, I define myself another way. I define who I am, and I'm not going to let anybody else define me but me. Nobody's going to save us for us but us. That's a fact. So now let me tell you another thing I'm talking about. When we live in this democracy, the first thing we're taught in democracy, capitalism is good for us. Now, capitalism is an economic system by which you deliver services to the people. Socialism is an economic system by which you deliver service to us. Socialism is not bad. It's not communism. That's what they tell us. Or that the young people that got elected in New York, the first thing they said about it, they communists. They're not communists. They have a belief in a social system that deliver more services to working people, poor people, and middle class people. The rich people don't like that. So they call them communists. No. Socialism can also be an economic system that you deliver services under capitalism. Socialism can deliver services under any form of government. Socialism is a system. Capitalism is a system that delivers services. Now let's talk about capitalism for a minute. Capitalism is what they like to preach is equated to democracy. Okay. And they say capitalism is going to deliver these services to you. And what capitalism do disproportionately of, they deliver services to rich people more than they do to poor people. They make more millionaires than they help poor people. Under capitalism, they do not like for you to have health care for everybody. Under capitalism. That's a social system that delivers services to its people under capitalism. Now, another thing about you got to understand about capitalism, capitalism is a form of socialism to the rich. Because socialism is when the government gives you something to make your life better. When the government do it. And the government give a lot of money to rich people. They don't give enough money to a rich person to make him a trillionaire.
Yes.
That's when he's rich. It's because he's a trillionaire now. The government did that. Gave him contracts, did all that. That's socialism. They give us socialism. They give socialism to the rich, and they give us capitalism for the poor. Okay. And then they take the capital out of capitalism. They just give us theism. Yeah. They don't give us nothing. Oh, now let me get another example. You ever play Monopoly? Yeah. Monopoly is a game that everybody gets $1,500 play money to go around the board and try to buy up utilities and property and stuff. But for black people, if we playing Monopoly under the American system, what they did for us, they let us play the game, but they didn't give us no money. And that was 40 acres and a mule, people. What we was promised after the Civil War. We never got our share. Wow. But they gave it to everybody else. They gave them land. They took the land from the Indians and they gave it to white people. That's just a fact. And so you don't let them confuse you. And then they say, now they told them people who got elected in New York, they are communists. They are not communists. They are socialists. They wanted to deliver to you health care for everybody. They want a good education system for everybody. They want everybody to have housing. They want everybody to have that which makes them to live as a family, that you can feed a family, you can educate a family, you can do everything that you need to make a family whole. Wow. What's wrong with a system like that under capitalism? Under capitalism could do the same thing, and they just will. But they give everything to the rich people. And they want us to accept that. That is not what we should be looking for. We should be looking for somebody. And I'm going to tell you, the Democrats, the old Democrats that's now in the House, they are educated away from the working class. That's what's
Explain that
wrong
a
with
little
it.
bit.
They
What
have
do you
become
mean?
so educated, all they want to do is write letters. They want to worry about robbing rule of orders,
Mhm.
and they want to talk that talk, but they don't walk the walk. The new people from New York that they call communists, they are from the working class. They have lived the life of a working class person. They have lived the life of poor people. So they know what poor people want.
That's
Poor
it.
people want health care. They want education. They want to be able to make a livable wage. They want the prices to come down so they can pay for them if they're working. And that's you can put any kind of name on you want to, but that's just common sense. Now, the other thing that's happening, we have a redistricting now. Everywhere they
Yes.
go, they're saying they're trying to take us back to the old South where you have no black elected officials. Now, okay, they're going to redistrict, so they're going to dilute the black districts. That's all right. Let them do that. But they put themselves in prayer because when you dilute the black district, you also dilute the white districts.
Talk now.
And
Come
and
on
all
now.
we got to do now is vote in large numbers. But the new criteria was voting, so we don't have to worry about what race they are. We got to worry about what they believe.
Amen.
Whatever the person believes is who's running, whether he's white or black. Does he believe in democracy? Does he believe in affirmative action? Does he believe in diversity? Do he believe in giving everybody education? Does he believe everybody should have health care? That's the person you should vote for, whether he is black, white, or blue. Doesn't make any difference. That's what we're going to judge him on now before we vote for him. And we have to come out and vote in large numbers. When they put us in these, when they dilute our district, they also dilute their own district. That's what these fools don't understand.
Yes.
And so all we got to do is vote in large number and just get enough black people. Let me tell you something. I was one of the people who helped change the form of government in Chattanooga. And what we really had hoped for, that we would get 4 districts in the city of Chattanooga. And under the unity group, we tried to get all the people we thought was going to run for office after we changed the form of government. And this is what we said to them. We had a little workshop under Ralph McDaniel. We said, now look, if we can get 4 black people, this is what we said to them. If y'all get elected and we can get 4 black people and y'all act as a coalition, y'all act together as one,
Come on.
then all we got to do is get 1 white person to go with us. We would have a strong council form of government, and we would have a weak mayor form of government. That's what we were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't happen, y'all.
Oh my God.
It
Tell
didn't
us what happened.
Well, I don't want to get into that because you know what happened. Everybody know what happened. They got in office and they started given a little perks here and a little perks here, and they started doing what the mayor wants. So you got a strong mayor form and you got a weak council form. Well, I kind of gave up on that. So I started doing some other things. I said, that's not working, so I'm going some other way. And so I went some other way. And one of the other ways I went was to build museums.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, because we need it.
That's one other thing I saw we need. Let me talk about the museum a minute. Everybody want to know, how did you get in this museum thing? Well, let me tell you. Everything I do, I start with my family. I'm a very family-oriented person. Family come first. And so when I was in the military, I was overseas and I went to the library and I saw more books written by black people in that library than I ever seen in my life. And I couldn't believe it. And so I said, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna absorb much of this I can while I was over there for almost 3 years. And every chance I got, I went into the library. I was in the gym playing basketball. Those were 2 things I did after I got off from work. Played basketball, or I went to the library. And I studied about black history. I studied about what black people had accomplished, and I was amazed. And so when I came, I was sending a lot of stuff home about the culture of the people in Japan, in the Philippines, in the Middle East. And my wife was throwing all this stuff up. So when we started the house, we would decorate different rooms. And like our dining room is Japanese orientated.
Mm-hmm.
And in the living room, we got curio sets with a lot of Filipino stuff in it and stuff like that. And so then when I came home and we started decorating our house, I said, I think I want to put some Black history stuff in here. So I started putting a lot of, and my children went crazy over it. They just loved it.
Wow.
And then I said, well, if my children are like, I wonder how it would go over in my church. So I talked to Rev McDaniel. He said, yeah, that sounds good. So I started my first museum went up at Second Baptist Church. And it was all over the place. Much of what you see in the museum out here came from Second Baptist Church. And so then we got a new pastor, and he was electronically smart and everything. So he put computers in every room and said, we don't need all that stuff on the wall. We can put it on the electronic thing. It's not on there yet, but we looking. They got a committee gonna come out here and see what we done out here, and they're gonna try to put it on the television in each room that people can see it. So they getting around to it. It take them a little time, but they coming around. And then I ran to Dr. Woods, and Dr. Woods showed me this building out here. I went crazy. I said, boy, I can fill up this whole school. And that's what I intend to do. And the philosophy of the museum,
thank you,
is based on what Black people, poor people, working people, middle-class people have done to help themselves. It's a bottom-up kind of museum. And all the people above them who want to participate in helping the museum that has helped poor people move up, then I'm welcoming them too. That's the philosophy of the museum.
Yes.
And we stick to that philosophy. And so we have a lot of history out here, and you should come out and see it. I give a tour to anybody who wants. All you got to do is call me. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm handicapped. And if you call me and you come and pick me up at home, I'll give you a tour of the museum.
Yes, you will.
I can get in the building by myself. I cut on all the lights, and we'll give you a tour of the museum. Until tours just become open to everybody. We're hoping to have somebody hired that can just open it up and let you come through it and walk through it and just look at it for yourself.
It's amazing. I just want to just jump in. What Mr. Johnny Holloway has done to this museum out here, I can't see anyone devoting their time as much as he has to make this museum a top-notch African-American museum. And there are many museums around the world. But when you come into a museum and you see actual Black history and you learn, one of the other things he did was to institute a Black history course that we offer in the museum. And until you take a Black history course at this level with no outside influences other than the truth, and the truth comes from the Library of Congress because we have a very educated instructor, then you don't know history. I didn't know history. I tell people all the time, I'm a very educated Black woman with degrees and doctorates and all that kind of stuff. But until I took that course, all I know is I don't know nothing. And it was his suggestion. I'm not going to tell you what he said, but it was his suggestion that we utilize Mr. Harold Bryson.
That's right.
Harold Bryson has his master's in education. He's, I would call him a master in history, and has traveled all over and taught. And for more than almost 60 years of his life, he has been in history. And until you take his course, you just don't know Black history like you know history, or you think you. Now we invite everybody, Black people, white people, Jewish people, you need to know the history of African Americans or Africans from the inception when we first landed on earth, when God first created us, all the way up to today. It didn't start with Martin Luther King. It started way before he was born. And so I invite all of you to join, to sign up for that course. And that is the completeness of the African American Museum, is to have with us an icon, someone who has walked with Jesse Jackson, talked with Jesse Jackson, worked with Jesse Jackson, been on the board with Jesse Jackson, helped to bring about what we call the what is it, the Push Excel program, education. This man has been in the trenches of history for this community and abroad.
Let me just say something about Harold Bryson. Harold Bryson is an old Push man. He used to come. He heard about us and he came to Push one day, and as usually, he was dressed to the hilt. He always dressed up. I don't know.
Shout out to Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
And so he came in there, and we want to say, who is this fella all dressed up during the week? And so I got to know him, and so I found out how much history he knows. So he started doing a little 15, 20-minute history, little program in history session in Push every Saturday. When he showed up, we give him a little time to tell us about it. Now, I'm going to tell you, I've been through his history class too. The one thing that he taught me more than anything else, he taught me that the Bible is more than a religious book.
Yes, it is.
It is a history book of the people of color and the beginning of history of the world. And he can go through that with you step by step, from the creation all the way to the day. He does a beautiful job. And then he brings that history on up to today. He is a good instructor. I give him credit.
Yes. And it's not to confuse you, it's to set the record straight and to educate you. See, most of what we know is what we're taught. And if nobody ever teaches you that, then you stay a little ignorant to that, right?
Right.
So he brings to light what we are ignorant about. And then from that perspective, we'll become more educated.
Now, I'm gonna tell you something. That if you grew up in America, now I grew up in America. I bought the American dream hook, line, and sinker when I was growing up.
I did too.
I believe that the individual was the most important thing. I believe the men should be in charge of everything and women should be in their place. I believed all that crap. And then I began to study history for myself. When I was in school, they taught us Africa was in Asia Minor. You might not believe that. And I'm looking at I started to curse, but I'm looking at the map, and I'm seeing Africa, that Egypt is in Africa. But they told me in my history class that Egypt was in Asia. Now, why would they tell you that? Why they want you to believe that?
See?
Because Egypt is one of the major education centers in the world. Yes. That's what it was.
Yes.
A lot of the European scholars, like Sophocles and all them philosophers you hear about in the history book, they went to Africa to learn what they learned, to come back to Europe and tell you. That's where they got it from.
And that was before Christ.
Yes. You know, I used to think Timbuktu was in Arizona.
Oh, wow.
Timbuktu is in Africa, y'all. It's a major education center of our times. And you got to remember that. They mess you up in America, trying. If you can't think for yourself and you can't define yourself, you're gonna be messed up in America. If you listen to the media, you listen to them crazy politicians we got in Washington now, you're gonna be messed up.
Yes.
And you'll become a cult.
Yes.
They will mess you up if you listen to that stuff. You got to think for yourself. And that's what I like. And let me tell you this, in the museum, we have a transition from slavery to today, the names that we have had. Yes. I like this. When we came over here, we were slaves. I mean, we was Africans. They made Africans slaves. Now, I'm not going to go through what it takes to make a slave, because that's some vicious stuff. I'm not going to talk about that. But we went from Africans to slaves. Then they call us Negroes. Before they call us the N-word, then they call us Negroes. And then and we used to fight if you call us black. That was fighting word.
Yeah.
But then Jane Brown came along and said, "Say it's loud, I'm black and I'm proud." And then a young man wrote a poem and said, "I am an African American." So now we are black, we are African Americans, we are Negroes, we are a little everything. and then after that came Jesse Jackson saying, "I am somebody." And you'll be surprised how that work on you psychologically to move you forward from where you were to where you are today. Just that name, just understanding what they used to call us.
Mm.
And then there's a thing called a ma'afa. The ma'afa is a Swahili word meaning the way out is back through. Now, the ma'afa was a play, took a week to put on, and I went to New York at this church, and I can't think of the name of the church now, to see the ma'afa. And it was like a Broadway play. That church had a great big old theater in it.
Mm.
And they had a great big old stage. And they put on a play from the time we was Africans and came to America to be slaves to where we are today. And I'm going to tell you, we are an amazing people.
Yes, we are.
Because anybody can rebuild a family from what we had gone through as slaves. That's a miracle.
Praise God for that.
And if you don't know what we went through as slaves, it's almost inhuman to repeat it. And I'm not going to try to repeat it today because it makes me mad when I start repeating what happened to our women, what happened to our men, what happened to our forefathers. It's amazing how we recovered from that and become the people we are today. And we don't get no credit for it. They try to take our credit away for what we have accomplished.
But we won't let that happen.
No.
And we will not let that happen because of people like Mr. Johnny Holloway. And I love what he's doing. He is transferring this knowledge not only to us in this community, but to his family first. And we have to continue to do that because when a race of people lose their history, they become non-existent. And so it's important that every nationality keep their history. And the only one I think of right now that's that threat of becoming non-existent is African Americans. And we are not going to let that happen. We're going to continue to build institutions that you talked about earlier. And we're going to continue to talk about our history, celebrate our history, invite others from other nationalities to participate in the celebration of our history and to be proud of who we are, to be proud of where we come from, and to be proud of the knowledge and the wisdom that God has given us. And all of this, when you think about what we've been through, you think about how we bounce. You know, I call it, we have resilience. We have resilience. And it's something about the resilience of African Americans that make us special. I don't care. You can't kill us. You can't get rid of us. We are here to stay because we are God's people. And I invite all of you to come to our museum, the Johnny Holloway African American Educational Heritage Museum, and to take the African History course because you will be better. I don't care who you are. You will be better and we will get along better. The mystery, the lies, all of that will be dissipated. And that's what we need. And we're going to continue. I'm telling you, we got some announcements. We just had this great Juneteenth and rededication ceremony on let's see, July the 19th. We are having the NAN community event. We're going to be giving away free everything. I'm talking about new stuff. Pallets of stuff from Amazon going to be given out at this site. We're going to have food. We're going to have speakers. We're going to have all kinds of enlightening things that you all should know. If you're a convicted felon, you want to get your citizenship back. Until you do this, I don't care if you're out of jail. And I don't care if your probation is over. Until you do your paperwork, let's get back in school. Until you do your paperwork, you are still not a citizen. You're what they call free. You're out of prison, but you're not a citizen. You cannot vote. We want to restore your right to vote. If you owe money to the judicial system and that's hurting you and keeping you from becoming a citizen, then we can get you on the payment plan and get you your citizenship back right away. We want to see you here on June. What is that? No, I'm sorry, not June, not July the 19th. We want to see you all on August the 1st. I apologize. It is August the 1st, 2026. That's coming up real soon. And in just a moment, we're going to have some people on the show with us, Mr. Holloway, to talk about not only this, how powerful it is to become really free, but voting. Don't let anybody tell you that your vote don't count. That's a lie from HE double hockey stick. It's meant to hold you back. It's meant to mess with your mind. You must vote. You have to vote. You have to register. And then if you're already registered, it does you no good to be registered and you don't take that registration to a poll and vote. I don't really care who you vote for, except you know the climate. You know what you need to do. But it's like having an ATM machine, Mr. Holloway. You got $1 million on that card, and you never take it to the machine to withdraw. That's how a registration card is. It's like a ATM machine that you have it, but you never use it.
Okay.
That's how.
Tell them about how you can register it by electronically.
Lord, they have made it so easy. I'm gonna tell you something. Now, and that's a code right now. You just zap your phone, take a picture of that right now, and fill out the form online, and you're registered to vote. You don't even have to fill out a long piece of paper. Just go to vote.org, and then they have Tennessee vote.org. But go to the site and do it online. You don't even have to leave your house. In fact, when we go out and register people to vote, we take our phones. Some people have their computers, their little computers they bring with them. Some of them will ask you to go to the site on your phone because there's some personal information on there, like your social. And some people may want to do it themselves. But anyway, when you put it in online and hit submit, you are registered to vote. It's no excuse not to be registered to vote. You don't have to go on Amnicola Highway. You don't have to wait on somebody to show up at your door with a voter's registration application. You can do it yourself, and everybody is tech savvy. I got grandbabies that know how to get on the phone and use it. And
everybody but me.
Oh, we gonna get you there, but you're registered anyway. But if you don't have one of these things right here, we need to get you one because they even free. So we need to make sure that everybody can go online. And if they can't, go vote Tennessee. Go on there. In fact, you can check your registration. Go to this site. Go vote Tennessee. Go to the site and check. And they'll ask you for your name. They'll ask you for your address, where you live. And they may ask you for the last 4 digits of your social or something like that. And then they'll ask you, do you want to check to see if there's an eligibility page, and then hit next, and then they'll say you're already registered. It already knows you're registered, and they'll say, oh, you're not registered. Maybe you live on Campbell Street, but you moved to Hiwassee Street. You're not registered on Campbell Street, or you're registered on Campbell Street, but you put Hiwassee, your new address, but you haven't changed it. This gives you an opportunity to change your address. Make sure that you're voting in the right precinct. Some people go where Hiwassee was because they used to Hiwassee, and they keep going to that site and registering, but they don't live there anymore. That's what they call voter fraud. But now we're wanting to make sure you're registered and that you're registered at the right house. You have to July the 7th to register to vote for the next election that's coming up in August, okay? If you don't register by July the 7th, you might vote for November.
Let's talk about voter fraud, baby.
Yeah, talk about
it. That's what's happening now. Let me tell you what would happen to me, where I would not be able, and I have voted in every election since I was 18 years old. I haven't missed one. Even when I was in the military, I voted. I voted from overseas. The first thing the administration is trying to do is want to have your birth certificate to verify. Now, if he looked at my birth certificate, my name is Johnie. That's on my birth certificate. The military would call you by your birth certificate name. All my military records got Johnie. All my civilian records got Johnie. Now, if I carry my birth certificate over to the voter registration and said, this is my birth certificate, they would disqualify me.
Wow.
That's number one. Number two, women. A lot of women would be disqualified because on their birth certificate, they have their maiden name on it.
Mm-hmm.
And you go over there and you got your maiden name on your birth, and you marry and you got your married name, you would be disqualified as they are looking at their definition of voter fraud now.
Yes.
So
what do we do?
Well, you vote. You got to change administration. You got to change the House of Representatives. You got to have somebody who can check the president. That's what the House of Representatives is able to do. They're supposed to check the president. You have checks and balances in a democracy. But in an autocracy, you have one man sitting at the top dictating to everybody else. Mm-hmm. And they are letting the president dictate to the House of Representatives now. That man over the House of Representatives had the nerve to say, we are a protection agency. That is the craziest thing I ever heard. That is what the mafia does. They protect their people.
Wow. So right now, if I'm married and my married name is whatever, Jones, but my birth certificate has Woods on it, do I bring both forms of identification? My marriage license right now. We go vote tomorrow. Is it effective now?
You should carry your marriage license and your birth certificate. I don't know which one they will accept.
Did y'all hear that?
But you should carry both of them. Carry both of them.
Carry both. Ooh, Lord, the world is gone.
And you should not have to carry any of them. Mm-mm. Because the states have a right over the elections, and the states should make sure that elections are so rigged. I shouldn't say the word rigged. So set up so you have to do the minimum thing to vote. This thing they call voter fraud, less than 2% out of all the people in America vote. Less than 2% they found something wrong with. And that's not worth spending all these millions of dollars trying to prove
catch somebody. Yeah. So ladies, if you are married, you heard our icon who's been through ain't no telling. I don't even want to bring it up. He's been through everything. Say, take both. Take your driver's license. Dig up, find your marriage certificate. Go down to the courthouse, go get it. Take both forms of identification with you so they can't turn you away no matter what. But whatever you do not leave that poll without getting a provisional ballot if they tell you don't have proper identification. Do it, and then we'll challenge it later. But right now, you need to bring both because they're acting up now. They're acting up. So bring them both.
That is if your state requires you to do that. See, the state has jurisdiction over voting. What they're doing in Washington, they want the federal government, at least they want the White House, to govern elections now. But that's what they're trying to do. But the state legally, as set up by the Constitution, has the right to hold elections. And you shouldn't have all these problems that the federal government is trying to create for us.
Can you go and see if our next guest is here? Because she can clear this up. Her name is Victoria Flores from TAG. That's Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia Indivisible. Her name is Victoria Flores. She's our guest who's going to clear up this stuff about the election.
That's beautiful.
And I had the distinct honor, we had the distinct honor of having TAG here on Juneteenth, registering people to vote here at the Chattanooga Civic Center at Mountainside. And she is here, and we're going to bring her on in. Scoot that chair over here. I don't want you to go nowhere, Holloway.
Okay.
Okay. Scoot that chair on over. Miss Flores is here. And she gonna clear up some stuff because this is, hey, we got to clear up some stuff, Miss Flores. Come on, old school on in real close. Come on in until you see your face. Yeah, there we go. We have Miss Victoria Flores. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Who is with Indivisible Tag, Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia. Y'all know what they're doing down in the South, but we just not gonna sit here and let it happen. But I want to invite her and tell her thank you for coming, because she gonna clear up some stuff, because we confused a little bit. They talking about women can't vote if they married, if they don't have their marriage license, they got to bring their marriage license in. The driver's license don't count. Please clear up that, and then clear up when they got to be registered to vote if they want to vote August, and give us these dates.
Well, first off,
Tell us first of all who you are.
Oh, I'm Victoria Flores. I'm one of 7 chapter leaders for Indivisible Tag. So we just had our 1-year anniversary actually. So we started out to work in a 50-mile radius to help marginalized communities. We're doing food pantries. We're getting the vote out. We're doing so much in the community right now. And so this is part of our civic engagement as well, with talking about when you should be voting, voter registration. And voter registration last day is July 7th. There is a lot of things going on right now. I mean, with the SAVE Act, as if you're watching the news, there's a lot happening. So one thing you want to always keep is make sure your ID is updated and current, and make sure you have that available when you go to vote. Usually when I went to vote, they just asked for my current ID, and that's all they asked for. So it's very much of an easy process. Also, if you have any questions, contact the Election Commission. There's a human being involved. There's not AI. It is a person, and they can answer all your questions.
Wow. So this thing about having to have your driver's license, is that relevant for Tennessee?
It
is relevant.
Yes.
So now I didn't take on my husband's last name. I'm a Woods. That's my maiden name. But if I had taken on my husband's name, and I had my identification in my husband's name, my driver's license, but I'm Elenora Woods, my maiden name, would they allow me to vote? Because my names are different.
That would be a question for the Election Commission. Now, the way that certain legislation is trying to pass, where you would want to have all your documents.
That's
so your marriage certificate, if you've been divorced, have your divorce decree. Bring those documents with you if you're right, because there's so much misinformation going out there right now, and no one knows exactly what to do. So I would say bring your photo ID that's current. Now, there's other forms of ID they are requiring as well that you could use, which is on the Election Commission website as well. But I would bring in that documentation.
Wow.
Yeah.
And, this is a form of voter suppression, in my opinion, because anytime a woman, and think about it, we get married, we take on our husband's name. They're not asking the men to do that. Of course, sometimes men do change their names, though.
Right.
Sometimes they change to the wife's last name. It's not uncommon to see that happen sometime, but it's a form of voter suppression for women. That's why women are getting outraged.
Yes.
To have to bring their birth certificate, the driver's license, their marriage license, their marriage divorce decree. It's a bunch of stuff. So we don't want people to miss out on voting because they didn't have all the documentation. So if nothing else, they should get a provisional ballot and challenge whatever, and get the captain at that site to call somebody from the Election Commission, give you a chance to go home and get whatever they need to get. Don't wait till the last minute to vote, y'all.
They have phones on the sites. They can call right from there, and you can stand there and wait, and they can ask those questions. So that's one of the benefits. Do not be afraid to go and ask the question, what do I need to do to vote? I think a lot of people feel that with so much information coming out right now, feel powerless. No, pick up the phone, ask those questions, right? There's an email option as well to contact the Election Commission, and they will answer those questions. Or go, like I said, if you go to the polling site, ask the person you need to talk to contact someone in charge. So that way you can make sure that you can get your vote in. Because, August 6th is also the anniversary of the Voters' Rights Act of 1965. It was signed into law by Lyndon B. Johnson. That's the anniversary. That's something we fought for. So call, ask the questions, and someone will get those answered for you.
Right. Now, with Tennessee being a red state and the gerrymandering, the redistricting of the map just happening.
Yes.
Some of our precincts have been changed. What used to be your precinct is no longer your precinct. It's going to be mass confusion with people going to the polls to vote. So I encourage everybody that's out there, and we're going to be encouraging people and learning who and where the streets are, to learn where they have to go to vote before they even get up in the morning. Right. Know where you're going. Don't just go there and then find out, oh, I can't vote here. Oh, my precinct's been moved over here. It's going to be mass confusion. And I know that gerrymandering, part of the voter suppression is to confuse people. Right. So you may have voted over here the last time, but now you got to vote somewhere else. And you get in your car. Gas is expensive.
Right.
And it's expensive to get in your car and drive to a precinct that you once voted at, and then be told that's not your precinct anymore. So what are we doing about getting the people ready for that challenge? Because that is a challenge. People voting precincts have changed.
Right. Well, so that's one of the things why we printed out a flyer. You're going to probably see these flyers around town. You probably won't be able to see it on the screen.
I think our engineer has that flyer. If Michael, if you would put the flyer on there that's talking about what's on the ballot. It has some QR codes on there. If you could go ahead and do that now, pull it up on the screen. Can you explain a little bit why he's pulling that up? Michael's pulling that up. What's on this flyer?
Right. So on the flyer, once it gets pulled up, you're going to see 3 QR codes at the very top. One is register to vote in Tennessee. In the middle is check your registration and look up your districts. That's going to answer your question. So when you scan the QR code, you'll click the link in the queue. If you're using depending on your device, a link will pop up that you click and it'll redirect you to the website. This way you can enter in your information, usually ask for the last 4 of your social and your first and last name. And then from there, you can see exactly what your precincts are, your districts, and additional information for where you should be voting. Then if you have any questions also about who the candidates are, you can scan the 3rd QR code. So if there is any question about what you're needing to do, everything is online. There's several different websites to find this same information, like Rock the Vote. There's even information about goodtroubleliveson.org, where you can even find the information there. There's more than one avenue if you have questions about where should I go to vote. Because if things are changing rapidly, you want to make sure that you're being educated and aware of what the next steps are.
Wow. And I love this flyer. And one of the things I would say too, our more seasoned, I would call them patriots, people that go and vote, and that if they're not voting, they they better go register before July 7th, July 7th, is that we have younger people in our family. We have our children. We even have grandchildren that are very savvy with computer technology. And if you don't know how to use the computer, it's still no excuse not to get online and use that computer. Because call your grandchildren, call your children, call anybody in your family that knows about computers. Have them come to your house and bring their computer with them.
Dr. Woods, Woods, could you have a lot of contact with the Courier? Could you have them to print this in the next newspaper?
I most definitely will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
And I will tell Mr. John Edward, thank you for that wonderful article on Juneteenth in helping us to celebrate Mr. John Holloway renaming of the museum. And we definitely will get this in our, if you don't mind, because
it's public information.
Okay.
So post it, share wherever you can, because the more people are aware, because this election is happening quick. I mean, it's happening on a Thursday. We're typically, a lot of people expect it to be on a Tuesday. So, so with that, I mean, we're looking at the last day to, you mentioned this earlier, last day to register is July 7th. And then your early voting period is the 17th, July 17th to August 1st. Then, of course, your election day.
And since we're talking about the computer technology, registering to vote, can you do that online? Because some people, like July the 3rd or July the 4th is on a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to be off of work on Monday because they get the following day.
Right.
So federal buildings are going to be closed on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a computer, you can get online
Yes.
and register to vote. It's no excuse not to be registered to vote. You got children, grandchildren, you have cousins, aunties, everybody. Anybody in your family that knows how to use a computer, call them over to your house. Get them there to get you registered to vote.
Right.
You do not have to go in person. You don't have to worry about those
Right.
off-white forms that we used to go around and we have to turn them in and make sure these people
Right.
Right.
And
you
so
don't
if
have to do that anymore.
Right. And if your local library can also help as well, get you hooked up onto the internet and get you online to register online. That's why this option is available. They'll walk you through it. That's what our libraries are there for. They're a public institution to help our community.
Absolutely. And I tried this out, by the way.
Uh-huh.
I went online and I checked my voters registration to see if I was any good, right? Because I'm gonna see if this really works. So I put my name in, I put my address in, my social security number, the last four. It might ask for all of them, I don't know, but it said you are registered and at my address. And I moved. Okay, so the first thing I did when I moved was re-registered at that address. Right. So I was in the system in Georgia. As a matter of fact, moved from Tennessee to Georgia. They already had my new address in the system because I re-registered. So when you move, re-register, put your new address in there so that you'll be able to find out what precinct you're in, just like that, by putting your street address in and then going to the right precinct. Some people get confused because they move and then they, go show up at a precinct and they're not registered there anymore.
And it's also
or they're not registered.
Right. You can go to the election commission. It's a very easy process to go. And if you don't want to register online, you can actually go to the election commission and you can give them your new address and they can actually then mail you your new voter registration card.
They'll update it right then on the spot.
Right. Exactly.
Yes. So, Mr. Holloway, you were going to say something a minute ago.
Yeah, for all you people who are not computer savvy, like the two people sitting next to me, do it the way I'm going to do it. First thing I'm going to do with this piece of paper, I'm going to go home and I'm going to copy about 50 copies of it. I'm going to take it to my church.
Yes.
And I'm going to put it out on a little information table that they have there. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to do that Sunday. Yes. And as they leave church, they might want to pick it up. Mm-hmm. Now that's my way of doing things.
That's all right.
I'm not computer savvy like these two ladies here.
But it all works though.
It works. It all works.
It does work.
And so that's what I'm going to do with this piece of information I got today.
And something I want to suggest, Mr. Holloway, is that maybe have a few members of the congregation maybe scan the QR code and actually walk your members through it.
Oh, your pastor can do that. Yeah. He likes computer stuff.
Yeah. I'm going to give him a copy.
Personally. Yeah. I'm going to give him a copy. And then he can help. And then and that's our hope is that, the youth help the older generation with this technology because you could do so much on your mobile phone nowadays. And we help each other. We check these things. And then when you get registered, everything's up to par. Then you go vote. If you want to take your neighbor with you, take your neighbor with you. A carpool. I mean, do souls to the polls if you have to. But we need to get.
There's one commissioner going to be doing that. Anybody that needs a ride to the poll, hey, he's got his number, I think, on his signs. Call him. He'll come pick you up. Mm-hmm. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to vote for him, but if you have a problem with transportation, there's all kinds of organizations and people that are willing to give you a ride to the poll.
Right.
And I'm just excited about the fact that we don't have an excuse. It used to be an excuse. Well, I didn't know. I didn't understand that the vote was next week and I missed it or I didn't get the cutoff time to register. Now, y'all, I'm telling you, you're watching the internet, you're having fun, and you're getting mad about things that are going on around the country. So you're on the internet. You are on the internet. Can we make this go viral for our community? Yes. Because if they're on the internet, young folks are on the internet, and they make up a big population of people that can go vote. It used to be our seasoned people. And as they're transitioning on, the younger people now are 18 and older. If you're 18 and older, there's a ton of y'all. You need to go and vote. Take your position in society. You want to be grown, and that's all right. But this is what grown people do. Grown people are responsible, and they go to the poll and they vote. That's what they do. It's too many 18 and older people for us to say only 2% of the population is voting. No, 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 no. That's not acceptable. That's not acceptable.
Right. And also, to me, there's a lot happening on this particular ballot. And
Mhm.
that's how important this particular election is. I mean, we've got Hamilton County Mayor, Hamilton County Commission, School Board, Sheriff. You have Tennessee State House and Senate representatives, Governor. And then you have your U.S. House and Senate. I mean, scanning the sample ballot, you get to see who's on those ballots. But that's how big this ballot is. It's that critical to go and vote. I understand life is busy. We understand that. I mean, we have a lot happening in the world, but your voice matters. Your vote matters. And there should be no reason for someone to try to take that away from us. So I'm hoping that we show up in mass to cast your vote, however you choose to cast your vote. You know, we're not here trying to promote any one candidate. This is nonpartisan, but your voice matters and how you want things to be ran in the future. If you don't like something, do something.
That's
If you
it.
don't like something, do something. I want to remember that.
Yeah. If you don't like something, do something about it.
Right.
You know, let your voice be heard. And, you know, we got our governor on the ballot in November for the midterm. And we have a few people that are running for governor of Tennessee. Tennessee is red now. And it's red because the people in Tennessee have not went to the poll and voted because they say my vote don't count. Listen, Tennessee is really not red. Now, I'm not saying I'm red or I'm blue because I'm bipolitical.
It's purple. I think
Yeah,
some
I'm
people are saying it's purple.
bipolitical. I vote for the best person for the job. And so you might be a Republican. I may think you're a swell guy and may vote for you. You may be a Democrat. I may think you're a swell guy and vote for you. So what I'm saying is Tennessee is red, and there's too many poor people in Tennessee, y'all. Okay. It's too many poor people. It's too many minorities in Tennessee. For us to stay at home, if you live in Appalachia, wherever you live, to sit down, you're losing all of your benefits on health, or half of it's cut. You're losing your SNAP benefits. You're losing almost everything that's helping to sustain life for you. You get off the couch. I love what Donald Trump said. I'm going to repeat what he said. Get your butts off the couch and go to the poll and vote. You know, now do it for yourself because we are a red state. We're really not a red state. She said we're purple, but we should not be lit up red from Memphis all the way from West Tennessee all the way over to East Tennessee and Knoxville and all. We should be a purple state. I like that.
You know, Dr. Woods, when you start talking about who's voting, this is something I remember from many years ago. Poor people listen to other people. They don't think for themselves. They think rich people are intelligent. They think they know everything. But they don't know that. We have more poor people, working people, and middle-class people than there are millions of rich people. And if we would just stop voting for rich people thinking they're going to help us and just vote for our own interests, you would find out that you would be able to have health care for everybody. You would have a better education system. You would have more housing available. And you would have a whole lot of other stuff if we just voted from middle-class people, working people, and poor people and stop listening to rich people. That's the whole thing. Just that simple.
I love that.
Yeah.
And go ahead. You were going to say something. You were going to add something.
I honestly would. No, I was getting my thoughts together because what you said was very powerful. And I'm like, we are empowered. We are when we've seen the protests that happened for No Kings, we know what mass mobilization is. We know that collectively we can make change. That has happened in the civil rights movement. It's happened in several
Women's rights movement.
women's rights movements, right? That's people power. We have to remember we must remember we're united, we're collected, and that we want change. But you have to also be willing to take one step. And that one step it means courage. And when you do that first step, then you can take 2 and then take 3 and then build off of that. Ask questions. There's too many opportunities just to ask what can I do now? What can I do next? And let that lead you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let me say something about that one step forward. If God wanted us to go backwards, he would have turned our feet backwards.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. But I want to say to this flyer, the most important day that I'm seeing right now is July the 7th. You all check your voters registration because that's the last day to register. So if you're not registered, if you don't see your name, then you need to reach out to Indivisible Tag or one of us here so that we can help make sure you get registered. Don't wait till the 8th and then look and say, oh, I forgot.
Right.
It's too late. Make sure you get registered starting right now. Today, as a matter of fact, if you're listening to my voice, go check your registration. And if you're not registered, get registered today. Right. And early voting starts the 17th of July through August the 1st. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to wait to the last minute because if things are confusing, straighten it out between the 17th and August the 1st. Right. You got time to fix some stuff, right?
You really do, yes.
You really do. Because on August the 6th, that's the election day. If you haven't voted already, that's the last chance you will have to vote. It's going to be crowded unless you already went to vote. I'm encouraging everybody to go vote early.
Yes.
Get it out the way. Do all the kinks, the problems. You'll figure it out before the 8th of August.
Right.
Before the 6th of August. And then everything is good. That's going to be for your county, general, and state primary election for early vote and our actual voting day. And then for our state people, our state representatives, people that are running for state house and running for all of them, state and federal, general, and municipal election is November the 3rd. Okay. That's when we're going to be voting. And everybody keeps talking about the midterm. Mm-hmm. That's midterm. If you haven't registered by July the 7th, do they have a chance to register to vote for the November vote?
Say again.
If you have not registered to vote by July the 7th, and you missed the opportunity to vote in our local and our early voting for the county, can you still vote or register for the state and federal, general, and municipal
for November
election?
I actually called the election commission. They said that you can still, as long as you're registered to vote, either you can register to vote in the August or November, as long as you meet those deadlines. There's not a restriction based off what they've told me.
Okay, so what's the last date to register?
So for August, it's July 7th. For November, it's October 5th. And it's good for a year. But you do want to make sure when you do register that you're voting in that election.
Okay, y'all hear that? So y'all bloated. You're not going to get to vote for your county, general, and state primary election or to vote on the election day on August the 6th. But the midterm, you're going to be saved by grace because you will have an opportunity to still continue to vote after July the 7th for the state and federal general municipal election for all those big offices. The midterm, you need to register to vote because we got our governor on the ballot for that one. And we have our House and our Senate reps on the ballot for that. And our U.S. House and Senate. So you all make sure you register to vote for November, but we don't want you all to miss the locals. Because
that's critical, right? Because I mean, Hamilton County is up for election, and everybody should be participating in their local elections because they control budgets and the laws in the county. And so, if you have any concerns or questions, especially if you've been watching what's happening in the local news, this is a good opportunity to make your voice heard. So
Yes.
that's where your July 7th date is so important to register to vote for the county general and state primary elections. So it's really important to remember August is county general elections. And I think a lot of people miss that because we're so used to like November. No, we hear it all the time. We're trained to know that we go vote in November and not in August. But remember, this is local elections are for August.
Yeah, that's why we messed up in Chattanooga. Okay, it's not what the president election is. Wow. Okay, but we're messed up in Chattanooga. Some say because we missed the
local election.
The local election. We can fix and change things locally. What's on the federal level, it's going to take people around the country to fix that. Okay, but what's happening in your neck of the woods, right in your back door, is what's happening in August, on August the 6th. And actually early voting through the 17th of July through August the 1st. Y'all can remember the August the 1st because the Chattanooga National Action Network will be putting on a big thing out here. We're giving away free everything, new stuff coming from Amazon and different people, cooking and speakers. I mean, it's going to be awesome out here. We're going to be celebrating on August the 1st out here. So look out for that. And then we have a free trip to Washington, D.C. that the National Action Network, you're talking about speaking your mind and the rally and all that good stuff. The March on Washington, we are offering a free trip to Washington, D.C. We're going to be loading up from Hamilton Place Mall at the food court and getting on the bus, taking a trip. It's a one-day turnaround. We're going to go up to Washington, D.C., let our voices be heard. We're going to march, and then we're going to get back on the bus and come back to Chattanooga. So we're not spending the night, but we are going. So we need the first 55 people. Hey, it's on. So don't wait till the last minute to call us. You can get online and look up, or you can call us directly to add your name. We just need your name, your contact information, and your email address on the list, and you're on. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then, of course, we want you to join NAN, National Action Network. This is under the leadership of Reverend Al Sharpton. We got some big things with Reverend Al Sharpton coming to Chattanooga really soon. We are working on the dates and things of that nature, but don't miss your opportunity to be impactful in our democracy by letting your voices be heard, by going with us to Washington and joining National Action Network, because we are in action.
Right.
Yes. So I'm going to give y'all the last words, and then we're going to close this out.
Well, give it to you. Here you go.
Well, I just thank them for the opportunity to be on the air to share some thoughts that I have on how we should do things and how we should think about things. And that's very important, that you define yourself and don't let the media define you. Don't let rich people define you. Don't let anybody define you but yourself. And that's very, very important. And then when you leave from self, you go to your community and you serve your community out of how you define yourself. That's very, very important. And as I said, that most people try to define me as radical. I'm not a radical person. I think things through. I follow the law, but I am an activist. So I call myself an activist. That's how I define myself. Thank you.
Okay.
I love that. And I am an activist. I look at, I see that Chattanooga there's a lot of hope, and there's a lot of great and courageous people who want to see Chattanooga and Hamilton County grow and evolve. And a lot of the work comes back to community. And sometimes it is, and it's kind of like idea that we're not radicals. We're just trying to do better than we did yesterday. We're trying to give voice to the voiceless, put a face to injustice. We wanted people to be aware that, about food insecurity, that people are asking for us to do more, and we are trying to fill in those gaps. Every time I see the community step up and find that courage, it gives me hope to know that we can make the change, not just in Chattanooga, but in the state of Tennessee and across the country. Because I know that we can move forward and be the vessel for the next future generation. We can be that vehicle.
All right. Thank you. It has been a very powerful and impactful show today on what's happening in your neck of the woods with our wonderful guests that are here, Miss Flores and the infamous Mr. Johnny Holloway. Yay! And I want to encourage all of you all to not give up, because God is in control of everything. And trust me, I'm telling you, God is one of those individuals or spirits that you don't want to mess with. Because don't think that God is not sitting high, looking low, and managing all of us. We are in his garden, and he's going to take care of all of this. And I thank him for using all of us and all of you that are out there in the audience on the battlefield for him to do goodwill for our people. And today is Saturday. That means tomorrow is Sunday. And I know most of you, if not all of you, have a church home to go to. If you can't get there, you can praise the Lord right from your bedroom, your living room, your kitchen. But please give the Lord thank you, because he has done wonderful things for us. He has blessed us. He has kept us. And I want to thank all of you for being a part of that blessing. And with that, we'll see you next week. And don't forget all the information we gave you today in our garden. You talk about food insecurity.
Yes.
God has blessed this community to bless all of you communities out there with a farm. All the food is free. In fact, I picked some stuff this morning.
Oh, wonderful.
And it's out there. I meant to bring it on to the show so you all can see. We have some beautiful tomatoes, potatoes, carrots, greens, onions, everything, herbs, spices, and it's free. I thank all of our farmers for being a part of that and making that happen. We are grateful. We are grateful.
Let me say something about this free thing. When we were with Operation Push, we had a saying. We didn't charge for anything, but we said, take what you need what you take, and leave a donation if you can. That's what
I
we're saying.
love that. I love that. And with that, we are going to end the show for today, and we'll see you again next week.